What's the buzz? This is Zeta Beetle, and welcome back to Galactic Swarm Squad. In this episode, I help with an investigation in the fast food restaurants to see who ended up sabotaging one another. So, I'm not entirely sure all the details because it's been a couple of years since I last took part in this, but any way you slice it, let's go on ahead and get started with it, shall we? This is one of those story arcs that actually has an active end to it that you can clearly see. As where it starts, I believe, is with me earning bars to hire a character. So, given that I completed it in this round, I managed to snag my 28th point. So, essentially what ends up happening here is I spend some bars, I think, in order to be able to hold more bars, because otherwise it doesn't really count when you, well, you can't even pick them up, rather. So I buy a tactical shotgun off of Brutus, and then I go to upgrade it. Then I move on to get ready for what I'm going to be doing next. So that involves getting some extra weapons to be able to stand a chance against the person that Brutus chooses to make my target. Typically, the bounties choose somebody that you can handle, because usually whenever I go to get a bounty, unless I flub it up real badly, I can typically take down the target and be done with it. This is one such common bounty target for me. So I take them down, finishing off that challenge and earning my 28th point. Yay! Onwards to the next round. Or rather next clip, since this is a continuation clip of the previous round. So, essentially speaking, the old quest system makes it to where it won't even show you what the next quest was until the next round. So, I end up having to go for the next quest in line, which happens to be taking a vehicle to a gas station in either Lazy Lake or Catty Corner. Due to how popular Lazy Lake usually was, I decided to take the vehicle in question to Catty Corner. So, honestly speaking, up until a certain point, I didn't know what that vehicle even was going to be. Because, the sky's the limit on it, honestly. I would have preferred a fast vehicle so that there would be less risk of, being hit by by an enemy. However, with Dirty Docks being a supply dock for everything that comes from somewhere off the island, there were pretty much solely trucks here. So there wasn't really anything that I could have gotten other than a big rig. And while that is fine, like I said before, I would have preferred a big truck. Especially seeing as how I was sitting at a not-so-chill 50 green health. Or, as some people would say, due to the numbers popping off of the opponent in white colors, white health. So that's really that's really why we call it white health instead of green health, because of the numbers that pop off. Now, there is a third color that the numbers could be when you hit your opponent, and that happens to be yellow. That shows you that you have a headshot if they don't have shields, or if their shields are so low that you actually hit them for for what normally would be white numbers. So I don't know exactly when that pops up, but in later seasons, two numbers could pop up per one headshot: the blue numbers and the yellow numbers, or white, depending on which one happens to be. So this guy starts shooting at me, so I start firing at him and put him on the defensive. But I wasn't going to just be satisfied with scaring him off. Nope. This guy was going to feel my full wrath and get completely eliminated out of the round. This came at a price, though, as I was taken down below half of my white health. So I drink my shield potions. Then I go over to my medkit and apply that. This only manages to get me up to 100 health and 50 shield. So, yeah. Suffice it to say, that really isn't going to get me very far, because I didn't really have a solid way of getting more health at this point. And the storm was moving in at a pretty rapid pace, so I eventually just stuck with another big rig, and I start driving off into the zone, into the storm eye, in order to get the challenge done. I think I got a progress on another challenge where you had to damage structures or objects with a vehicle. So I guess I could chalk that down. But honestly speaking, the real thing that gives me my 29th point is dropping this big rig off at the gas station. So I climb up this hill like this, and then this really proves how all of the cons of the big rig can actually work against you, because even if it's not holding a trailer at all, it's still moving very slowly up the hill. And these things are absolutely sluggish off-road. So much so that they are horribly fuel inefficient, and you would need to have an extra gas can on hand in order to really do anything with them. So I just continue the rest of this on foot for now, until I find another truck with which to get to that gas station. So this happens to be in March, I think. At least as far as I know, it was in March, because that's when the clip was saved. Or rather, if it was edited, then it was edited to be March the 4th. So, and yeah, that's what I'm going with here. Some of these aren't edited, so that kind of makes me think that it actually is what happened on March the 4th. So, I get into this truck, which has Party Royale playing, and somebody manages to hit me with either a lever-action rifle or bolt-action sniper. I'm not sure exactly which, but just after I tipped the truck over, I turned the radio off, despite it being Party Royale. I guess I really wasn't much for Fortnite music at that point. Sometimes, though, I just feel myself being nostalgic and wanting to actually listen to it. Now, don't ask me why I'm doing this solely in reverse, because I really could not tell you. But as soon as I hit this wall right here, I start going forward towards Catty Corner, and I just simply drive right next to it, barely avoiding exploding the gas pump in question, and there we go. Next round. Alrighty. So remember how I said that there was a second part to that quest that I couldn't do in the previous round? Since this is the next round, they're actually showing me exactly what I need to do. And that is to visit 2 different restaurant kitchens. I start off with the Butter Barns to see exactly what's going on here. So, being unfamiliar with the Butter Barn, I only just now figure out where its kitchen happens to be, which is downstairs in the basement. For whatever reason. Then I check and see if this was what they were talking about. And, I'm not entirely sure if it is, but it didn't show up if it was, so I think it had to be, either, the Pizza Pit or the Durr Burger. I think those were the 2 locations that Sleuth thought were really fishy looking. So I move on to the Pizza Pit. To see what the matter was. While I was stuck on that crystal, I shot a missile to see if it would be blown up, but unfortunately it wasn't blown up in a single blast, so I decided to go around it and move on to Pizza Pit while driving a boat on land. Something that I oftentimes ridicule people with about. So, yeah, go on ahead and make fun of me. I most likely deserve it at this point, because I do it to others, so, yeah. I don't even know why I am doing it at this point, because they have land vehicles. It's not like it's not like there's not trucks, whiplashes, sedans, pickups, taxi cabs, you know, the general things that you would see in real life, you know. It's not like there weren't any in the game, and it's not like you couldn't drive them. I was just simply lazy here, and I'm basically calling myself out on this here. Because, you know, if the shoe fits, wear it, right? Anyway, let's go on ahead and get into the Pizza Pit's kitchen through this gate right here, and through the back door, like so. This is where it first counts. So, noting that it only showed up here, I move on to the Durr Burger, which happens to be down there. So, where I was confused as to when the Durr Burger showed up during the TGIF, this series kind of gives you a bit of a clue as to when it happened to pop up like that. At least I think it popped up like that only this season. I would have to look back over past footage that Marty Jester put in to see if that actually is true. Now, here, I don't know exactly what I was doing besides sand tunneling, but I eventually get back on the move and just sand tunnel most of the way to the Durr Burger kitchen. Once I hit a patch of land where I can no longer sand tunnel, I continue the rest of the journey on foot. I do miss sand tunneling. It was a really cool mechanic and very, very, very useful. And I've heard that it helped a couple of us win the game. Or at least one team, anyway. But that's beside the point. Sand tunneling is a very useful skill. And if it weren't for the issue where somebody found that if you used a harpoon gun, you could literally turn invisible while sand tunneling, it probably wouldn't be vaulted by this point. But then again, that is wishful thinking, and this is Fortnite after all, and it is epic. Most of the time, somebody has something nasty to say about it, and Epic is like, okay, this is causing way too many issues, we just vault this and move on. And it sometimes ruins it for the rest of us, because it's the things that those people were complaining about, those were the noob's ticket to actually being able to stand a chance against the pros. So, suffice it to say, there were many, many, many times where I wish Epic wouldn't listen to all of the loud people and just tried to keep the game balanced for people that actually couldn't do anything without said weapons. But then again, the saying please everyone, please no one applies here, because the thing is, what one person wants, the other person is going to detest. It's simple logic, honestly. Like, not everyone likes the same things and all that. However, after the change into Chapter 2 and beyond, I have noticed one of two things happening. Or it could be a combination of the two. Either I am getting better, or the incorporation of bots into the game is helping me out some. Like I said before, it could be a combination of the two. But the fact still applies that the more you practice at something, the better you get. So back in chapter 1, I could say that I probably wasn't any better than either D or F class. Now, however, I can safely say that I and Jester are at least A class. We can rumble with a lot of people, and we can at some points we can actually put out some high kill games. Like there have been many points at which we have managed to at least 8 kills. And there is always a season. There is always at least one season where we win at least once. And I almost had to mute there for copyright. But I turned it off in time before too much was said, and I went on to cross the blue steel bridge, and moving on to get the challenge done to drive a vehicle from Pleasant Park to Lazy Lake. The last 2 rounds of this challenge were very unlucky. Like, super unlucky. We, yeah. I ended up getting taken out more times than those 2 times. And, suffice it to say, it's only due to my sheer determination that I'm even attempting it again at this point. So you would know a thing about our determination, both mine and Jester's, by simply watching exactly how we approach said challenges. Like, we do it head on, no restraint. We will absolutely do what it takes to finish that challenge by any means necessary. Whether it be cheap or honest or anything in between, we're going to get that challenge done, because that's our driving force in this game. So, yeah. That's part of why I said that back in chapter 1 at least, I wish that Epic didn't listen to all of the loud ones that just kept complaining that everything was overpowered and needed to be vaulted. But hey, it's better now. And that seems to be about it for this episode. Join me in the next one when I damage opponents from over 50 meters away. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you'll see why in the next episode. Trust me, it is a long and grueling challenge. In the meantime though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Until then, adios amigos.